Disclaimer.
This video is purely based on the musical Alexander Hamilton by Lin-Manuel. I'm no way a psychologist. I'm an autistic person who just really likes psychology. So definitely do not take this as fact. Thank you. I hope you enjoy the video. Hello, welcome to my channel. To those of you who are coming back and to those of you who are new. Today, I'm seeing if Alexander Hamilton from the musical is autistic, and I'm using the Diagnostic Criteria from the CDC. I will link that down below if you want to look at the criteria yourself, because I personally find that stuff pretty interesting. I don't know if that's just me or if I'm weird. I've been told I'm weird a lot. Anyway, the first thing is a persistent deficit in social communication and social interaction across multiple contexts as manifested by the following. I know that sounds complicated, but then it gives shorter and explanations. So the number one is deficits in social and emotional reciprocity. Example, can't participate in back and forth conversations. So I think Alexander Hamilton shows this in his song Throw Away My Shot, because he literally says, gets too excited, shoots off at the mouth.
Don't let them know. Get overexcited, shoot off at the mouth. I never had a group of friends before, I promise.
Because, you know, he gets too excited and starts rambling and interrupts other people, and he just can't help it. And yeah, relatable, but also Burr is constantly upset. We hear about Burr a lot. I will talk about Burr a lot, don't you worry. But he says, why do you always say what you believe? He has no filter, basically. So, constant battle of offending people. He offends Burr like so many times in this musical. And the second one we have is deficits in non-verbal communications. Some examples of Alexander's behavior. Telling Alexander Hamilton to talk less and smile more constantly.
While we're talking, let me offer you some free advice. Talk less. What? Smile more. Congrats again, Alexander. Smile more.
I'm gonna finally have to listen to you.
Really?
Talk less. Smile more.
Talk less. Smile more.
Listen to the musical. Well, first off, why would you be watching this? But second off, it's in like every Burr song. And then another example is thinks Angelica is there for him. When he cheated on Eliza, Angelica's sister. I mean, I feel like that would be very obvious that Angelica would not be there for you. She would be there for her sister, who she has grown up with her whole life, and not for the man she married. So, yeah. And then he also doesn't like Burr because he doesn't express his feelings verbally. So he can't really tell whatever Burr's feeling. Like at the end, where he says he chooses Thomas Jefferson over his own friend Burr because he can never tell how Burr's feeling. But he still has Burr as a friend. He just does that because he believes that he should not run the state. Or, well, the country, because nobody else could tell what he's feeling, but that's not particularly true. The third criteria is deficits in developing and understanding relationships as well as maintaining them. He says, like, right from the beginning, he's never had a group of friends before, even though he's been through school and he's been through college. And he's traveled a very long way. And he's never had a group of friends as a child. Also, again, Burr tells him to smile more and talk less. So, he's already being told that he's not understanding relationships and smiling when he should. And he also has Burr again tell him, why do you always say what you believe? Soon that attitude may be your doom. He is literally warning him that if he continues to speak his mind with no filter, it's gonna hurt him. And it eventually kills him in the end, so yeah. And he's always wears his opinion on his sleeve. He's had a list of 30 years of disagreements. I feel like that has to be an exaggeration, but who knows? And he thinks writing a paper about his affair would clear his name? I feel like that's really not understanding how people feel. I mean, why would Eliza want all their dirty business out in the public for everyone to read? He was only thinking about the public eye and what is right, not about others' feelings. And he's always believed writing will fix everything. And I think that has to do with writing being his special interest, which we will talk about later. Now we're on to part B of the criteria, which is restrictive, repetitive patterns of behavior, interest, or activities as manifested by two of the following currently or by history. Pun intended, if you will. The first one is stereotyped or repetitive motor movements, use of objects, or speech. But I did not observe that at all in the musical. If you did, comment below. But again, this is completely not accurate because, again, this is a musical which is very different from the real thing. But fun fact, Thomas Jefferson always thought that Hamilton was very shifty because he could never make eye contact, and there's some theories. But anyway, let's not talk about the real person. Let's talk about the musical Hamilton. So the first one, as I said, not observed. So we still only need to have two of these requirements. Insistence on the sameness, inflexible to different routines, or ritualized patterns of verbal or nonverbal behavior. He exhibits the sameness in his thinking. For example, black and white thinking believes everyone should be open about their beliefs, unlike Burr. He's very rigid in his beliefs. He believes Burr changed parties just to run against his father-in-law instead of for the opportunity, because that's something that's really important to Burr. If he had listened to Burr wanting to be, an example, the room where it happened, he's always wanted to be in politics. And Hamilton knew this because he was jealous. Burr was jealous of Hamilton always being the right-hand man of George Washington. So I'm not sure if he just ignored that or he didn't understand why he was jealous, because Hamilton always wanted to fight, whereas George Washington wanted him to write, but he didn't want that at that moment. He wanted to be part of it, change the world. But Burr was jealous of that George Washington would want him and that Hamilton is not seizing the opportunity. And I just think Hamilton didn't understand that. And the third part of the second criteria is highly restricted, fixated interests that are abnormal in intensity of focus. Now, this one is very strong, yes, because he writes nonstop, hyper-fixated on the law, wrote 51 papers instead of the 25 that was planned, and wrote way more than the others who wrote the Federalist Papers aside him. He can't stop until he gets his plan through Congress, hyper-fixated again. Even when his wife was begging him to take a break, he couldn't stop. The man was nonstop, if you will. The fourth part of the criteria is hyper or hyperreactive to sensory input, or unusual interest in sensory input, or unusual interest in sensory aspects of their environment. I personally did not observe that in the movie. Well, I mean the musical. But if you did, comment below, but I did not observe it, and it's okay because he still meets the criteria, because you only needed to meet those 2 parts. And then part C was symptoms must be present in early development period, but may not become fully manifested until social demands exceed limited capabilities or may be masked by learning strategies later in life. We can't really say much about his early life because his mother died when Hamilton was so young due to the illness spreading all over where he lived. So not much parental evidence to go on, but he has always believed you can write your way out of anything, which is very like black and white thinking, to think that will solve everything. And it actually works for him in the beginning, where he wrote a play which actually moved everyone in the town, and he got money to actually leave. But writing doesn't always work for him once he writes the Reynolds pamphlet. So, yeah, not always good for him in that situation. And he did learn to mask later on, because he told Burr he finally took his advice, smile more and talk less. So Burr actually helped him learn to mask, which could actually be harmful for him, but that's beside the point. And part D is symptoms cause clinical significant impairment in social, occupational, or important areas of current functioning. Social is very clear. He is constantly told to smile more and talk less. It is eventually what gets him killed in the end, because he couldn't keep it to himself that he didn't like the way Burr held all his feelings in. He can't understand why anyone would not say how they feel. Like, he thinks it makes them a bad person or look shady. And that's, again, very black and white thinking. And then he has constant occupational fights as well due to no filter. For example, he says these Virginians are birds of a feather. And it's offending Washington, the guy he wasn't even fighting with and had a good relationship. He says, I'm from Virginia, so watch your mouth. And Washington is his friend, and he offends him frequently without even trying, which is unfortunate, but happens a lot with autism, because you don't understand that those things would upset people. I can say personally, I've said things that upset people with trying not to. I was just stating a fact and didn't realize it was offensive. And that seems to happen to Hamilton a lot. And the last category is E, which is, could it be explained by some other mental illness? And it could possibly in Hamilton's case, because a lot of things have happened to him. He's been in war, he went through a hurricane that destroyed his hometown, his mother died at a very young age, he lost his son. It was all a lot. So a lot of it could be explained by PTSD. But again, we will never know, because Hamilton is passed away a very long time ago. And again, this isn't about the real Hamilton. It's about the one in the musical. And again, we'll never know that either, because he's a fictional character and cannot say how he feels to us directly. So again, this video is all theoretical. Theoretical? That is not a word. Well, it is a word, but apparently I can't say it today. So, yeah, this is all up in the air. None of it is proven. None of it will probably ever be proven, but I did really like understanding a character and researching, because that kind of stuff is fun to me. So I hope you enjoyed it too. And I hope you enjoyed my drawing. And if you couldn't tell from this video, I, of course, was obsessed with the musical animatics as a child. A little more of a preteen, and I watched them on repeat. So, of course, I had to draw myself next to Hamilton in the animatic style. It does not match the realistic style, so it's more of just a doodle in the background that you'll see at the end. I was kind of a theater kid, but I was really bad at it and it was too overwhelming. So I had no speaking parts. If you want, I show a photo right now of me as a clown in the theater program because clowns don't really talk, they just boop nose. Oh, woo, it's a jump scare, get ready. There it is. I feel like I don't even look like me in that. I am wearing a wig and have heavy amounts of makeup, but I was also really young. But yeah, that's a jump scare, am I right? Like, it's pretty horrifying. Not as horrifying as high school, though. So I put the final touches on. Tell me what you think in the comments and tell me your opinions on this video because it helps. And if you think Alexander Hamilton is autistic or do you think I'm insane? Because honestly, maybe both. I think I'm maybe both. So you can call me insane in the comments if you want. It's fun because I know it's true. And here is the final product, and you can see the little me with the Hamilton animatic style because yes, that was me rewatching Hamilton animatics over and over and over again. And Emeritus, I don't know, something in my brain changed that day, I swear. Anyway, I hope you liked this video. If you did, consider subscribing for more insane content. And like if you want to see more videos like this. I'm not sure why you would want to see more videos like this, but it was fun to do. So, goodbye everyone. Have a great day or night.